afternoon, everybody, and welcome in. It is a football Friday, a day before Michigan and Texas. That does got to fire you up. That right there is a former Wolverine Jerry Diorio, who is on the screen and ready to go the day before Michigan and Texas. Jerry, good to see you. What's going on?
Great to be a Michigan Wolverine, Denny.
Yeah, well, I just flashed what we're going to be talking about, Jerry, and let's get to it. We've got predictions on this game coming up tomorrow at noon. You have some film that you are going to show us that will be both entertaining and informative. If it's anything like it was last year, we'll see, but the anticipation is building for the film. We'll start talking about this game that takes place at noon tomorrow, Michigan and Texas. You get a lot of people walking up to you, Jerry, and saying, hey, Jerry, what do you think's going to happen with Michigan and Texas tomorrow? What are you saying to
them? Denny, it's a tale of two different teams here. You got one that's very hungry, been told that they can't beat anybody. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have this. They don't have that. No receivers. All this happy stuff. And you got on the other side, everybody telling Texas how great they are. So I like where we're at.
Yeah, I think that in general, I like teams that have a hunger factor. Michigan made the college football playoffs 2 years in a row. And after that TCU loss, all of those guys to a man talked about, oh, man, we have been doing nothing but thinking about getting back in there. And so Texas did make the Final Four. So I think for that part, and it's a different team, but they do have a lot of those players back, I think that's an advantage for Texas if we're looking for the, some different things in there with the Horns. But I do think Michigan, I don't want to make it sound like they don't have a chance. When you have a defense like Michigan has and they're at home, I think you start there. That's where I start, Jerry. I think that the matchup, you say, hey, Quinn Ewers, man, this guy in 2021 was the number one recruit in the nation. I watched him 3 years ago. They would have beat Alabama if he didn't hurt his shoulder. They did beat Alabama last year. They made the college football playoff, and he's got wide receivers. Xavier Worthy was scoring touchdowns last night against the Ravens to open up the NFL season, but they brought in the transfer portal a bunch of fast wide receivers, and Ewers is the real deal. But Jerry, Michigan, I like the matchup with Michigan's defense. You say, how do you stop an explosive passing game and a quarterback like Ewers? Well, you pressure them, and Michigan can pressure the quarterback, and Michigan can cover. They've got excellent DB. So those two things, that matchup is, Michigan should be able to hang. So I like that part.
Well, Denny, I went back and I started looking at what Texas is bringing back, what they lost. They lost a great portion of that defense last year that had trouble stopping the run at times last year with those big boys inside. So I think that's a matchup that favors us tremendously, and I think that helps us on defense as well. And I'm going to get into it when I start talking about Diorio's thoughts and where we're at, what I thought about the game, and looking forward.
Diorio will deliver with his points that we look forward to you laying out there coming up. Michigan's offense, that's the question mark. I don't know what the quarterbacks are going to bring to the table. I don't know how they're going to deploy Alex Orji. I imagine that now that we've seen him in the first game, that they're going to have some kind of packages that they're going to put him out there, whether it's going to be just a wildcat situation or whatever. He's going to be the QB. Maybe they've got something where he's going to throw the ball, but Michigan's offensive line and Michigan's quarterback. You mentioned the wide receivers, all of those. If we just say the entire offense, how many points do you think Michigan's got to put on the board where you feel like, all right, they're going to win this game if they score X amount of points? You have a number in mind there, Jerry?
I'm thinking 27-30. I'm thinking 27-30 should be enough. This game will be short for Texas. They're not used to this. They're not used to this environment. They're not used to this style of play. They haven't seen it. When was the last time they saw it? I don't know. So this is a completely different situation that they're looking at. And they're probably thinking that they're going to have to score and score quick because the defense will adapt. But this game will be slowed down. Michigan will slow this game down and create problems for Texas. I've always said, Denny, defenses get tired and offenses get cold. When offenses aren't on the field, they get cold, they get desperate, they take shots that they shouldn't normally take. And that's what I'm going to say I see for tomorrow.
Yeah, if you're telling me that Michigan can run the ball and shorten the game, that's going to be a real nice thing to have going for you if you're Sharon Moore, and also if you're Kirk Campbell and you're calling up these plays. If you can get these quarterbacks in nice down and distance where you're
running, they were not against Fresno,
right,
and they hit a lot. Okay, when you look at it, Denny, we were in third and medium to long a few times and hit. But what was really impressive was when we were second and long and we hit. And, because second and longs usually are 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 6s, maybe 3rd and 7s, 3rd and long to 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. We hit second and long. And that's a huge thing. We're going to look at the film. I'm going to show you our offensive line dominating at times in most of the game. I'm going to show you where one play really kind of cost us 3 series in the first half. I didn't like the call at all. We're going to see running backs that DBs are going to have a real hard time tackling in the secondary. We're going to see a big, strong, athletic offensive line moving people off the ball. And we're going to see where Michigan typically will only have to get 3.5 first downs a drive, and they're probably going to be in field goal range. So that puts all kinds of pressures on the defense again.
Jerry, I don't know if you're, part-time Sonny Elliott or not, can give us the weather forecast. I looked, and it's going to be really chilly in the morning and getting up towards 60 degrees. So I don't know if you call that unseasonably cool or if you just call that Michigan, but it's not going to be hot. So nice. That's real nice football weather for September the 7th, right around game time temperature of, 58 degrees. You can't ask for anything more if you're on the Michigan side. So things will be looking good from that standpoint. I liked what I heard from Davis Warren on Monday when he stood up there in front of the cameras and he was asked about, do you think that there'll be a comfort level now and you'll improve from week 1 and week 2? Maybe you'll go through your progressions. The game will slow down for you. And he felt confident where he was at. He said, I'm taking what the defense is getting me. And he felt, he didn't say it exactly like this, but he said that he's very confident in his ability to read defenses and go through his progressions. I like to hear that. I didn't, if he would have been like, well, yeah, week 1 to week 2 and the game will slow down. He's been waiting for this moment. And, I don't know if he's going to go out there and throw it around the yard or to win the game or whatever else. But just from hearing that, I liked where he was at. He knows what we know about him now is that from the time that he got into Ann Arbor, he was his face was in the film, and he knew everything that was going on. So from a study standpoint and a game plan standpoint, I think that you feel good if you're a Michigan fan with Davis Warren. The inexperience, the receivers, the offensive line, where the defense is putting him in, the special teams, all of that. Well, we'll see if they're going to be able to help him along. I don't think he's going out there winning the game by himself. This is not a experienced quarterback, but you were never talking about that, him going out there and winning it himself.
I'll tell you one thing that's he's probably real excited about is having Colson Loveland split out wide creating absolute mismatches for the second. I mean, you got a 5'11", 185-pound cornerback trying to cover Loveland. And it's not going to happen. It's too easy. And there's other people that are open as well on some of those passes. So I kind of understand what Davis is talking about. This game is very manageable for him, especially with the weapon that he has around him, the weapons he has around him. He has a great offensive line. He has a great running game, and he's got tight ends that can play in space, creating absolute mismatches. I kind of like what he said as well, Denny.
Donovan Edwards, people were out on him.
John Stoops. Is that the Stoops connection in Youngstown? I'm wondering about that, John. Go ahead. Anyways, go ahead, Denny.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the Edwards, people were out on him week 1, but when you just look at his career, if we're looking at his career and saying, what Donovan Edwards do you expect tomorrow? I would say it's a big game, so I would expect vintage Donovan Edwards, the one that we saw down at Ohio State, who, when he was the one-armed bandit, the one that won MVP of the Big Ten championship game that same year when he had to step up and be the number 1 guy with Blake Corum going down with the knee injury, the one that won the national championship for Michigan last year in the first quarter with those electric runs of 41 and 46 yards. I think you're a Michigan fan. All right, you were down on him after week 1, but you remember what he can do and what kind of weapon he is. That's just however you want to look at it. To me, don't be down on him. That's an arrow that Michigan has. They've got Loveland.
Let's put it this way, Denny. Let's put it this way. If Donovan Edwards is your number 2 running back, how do you feel?
Great.
Okay, if that's your number 2 guy, how do you feel? Because Mullins looks like he's got vision, he's got speed, and he's got strength. And if Donovan Edwards is your number 2 running back, I think you feel pretty good.
Yeah, and Michael, so Sark and company, they'll want to take Colston Loveland out of the game. And this is where the other guys, whether it's Tyler Morris or Samaj Morgan or any of those other receivers that you want to go to, they didn't really break any with those bubble screens, but those guys are elusive. You like to feed those guys and get them the ball. And, people are down on the wide receivers as well. The good news is they got a chance to step up and make some plays. And I think Michael's right here. If I'm Texas, I don't want Colston Loveland to beat me. So I'm going to look for somebody else. I don't know. I feel like get Donovan Edwards out in the passing game. They got so many different things they can do. Get him out for some big plays down the field. Look for that matchup that you want. And Morgan and Morris, those guys, they're capable of having big games. I wouldn't be down on them if I was a Michigan fan.
No, not at all. Donovan's going to get his touches. He's going to get his yards. He's going to break away. He's going to have big games. And that's what I'm saying. If he's your number 2, you're feeling pretty good. By the way, SL Lines, I like what you just said. You're right. Our guy Warren has faced death. There's nothing overwhelming this guy. He's already faced death. So he's comfortable with himself.
Yeah, you come back after having to deal with cancer just 5 years ago. That's thinking about running out the tunnel and seeing the Longhorns on the other side, not a big deal. And it helps with Michigan being at home for a quarterback just starting his second game. Yeah, he was talking about the helmet communication, and it sounded like sticking your cell phone up to your ear at times. He talked about a little bit muffled, and he had to put some tape over his ear hole because it was still that loud. You can imagine being on the road and having to deal with that. You see sometimes in the pros, those guys got their, hands over their head and everything else. But
Michigan fans, you got to be loud and proud tomorrow. You got to be crazy tomorrow. Show them what playing in the big house is all about.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. If Texas, you can look at them and say, all right, Michigan's defense, they can handle them. But that Texas offensive line, over 100 starts for those guys up front for the Longhorns. And then they've got the quarterback here too and the receivers. So this defense, you mentioned 27, 30 points. I was thinking 25, so we're kind of close about, what's it going to take for this offense. But the defense can help you out there with the field position and obviously special teams. I feel like if you can get somewhere on special teams, that big play, get something on defense where you're turning it over, and then play clean on offense. If you're able to run that ball, there's the recipe. I mean, it's a recipe for any team, but big games and being at home and beating Texas, that's Michigan running the ball and setting up that quarterback and playing into their defense and special teams with the home crowd. That sounds like the points of emphasis as I'm sitting here, getting ready for this game tomorrow.
Yep.
I love the game. I just want to say, before you get your points here, one more thing. It's just that, for me, there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to play this game. I wish they weren't going to play this game. It was 6-7 years ago before there was the Big 12 going to the SEC, before the Pac-12, and people wanting to cancel this game. I've been looking forward to this game ever since they put it on the schedule. I know there's half the people, maybe more, that just like the W's. They would rather be playing North Texas, than Texas in this game here, but not me. I love that this is like a championship game. It's different. We're used to it being a showdown and everything being on the line. And if you lose, the season is over. You're completely devastated or you're sky high. That's it's going to feel like that, and people are going to act like that, or whichever side of the ledger you end up falling on tomorrow. But it's not really like that. Michigan can bounce back if they end up on the wrong side of the score tomorrow, and they can still get to the college football playoff. It's just a great matchup. That's the part. I'm glad they're playing it. That's the other part that I wanted to hammer home, because there's some people that are wish they were never playing this one. Well, it's here.
Denny, we always used to play somebody week 2, week 1. Whether it was Miami or Florida, whether it was Notre Dame, Washington State, back to back. I mean, we've always had tough game twos, and they've played well for us. They usually play well for us, gets us ready for the conference season, and it's a good game. We want to be in these big games. It helps recruiting. It helps all this kind of stuff. We want to be in these big games.
There's a good point that Michigan did a good job against Penix in the championship game, and Washington had a good offensive line, and they had a tremendous amount of outstanding receivers, from Polk to McMillan to Odunze, and the southpaw pulling the trigger. And Michigan did a really good job as a secondary and as a defense. So that's where it's coming down. Jerry, are you ready to put down a prediction for this game?
Yeah, I think Michigan wins. I think Michigan wins by 3 or more. I want to go over my predictions last week, Denny. I was 0 for 3. 3 big losers. Temple covering 42 against Oklahoma. That was a loser.
All right.
Wisconsin covering 23 against Western Michigan. Western Michigan looks like they're pretty good. They got a good offensive line.
Okay.
And then the over-under on Michigan State. I don't know why I picked that one. But I did say the score at halftime was probably going to be 13-3 Michigan, and then probably end up 31-13 Michigan. So I was pretty close on those two. And I like Michigan. I like Michigan a lot tomorrow. I think we can beat them by more than 7, actually. I think if we get on top of them, this is a different game than they're used to playing. We've seen spread teams. We've seen all kinds of great receivers, all kinds of great coaches. We've already seen that. They haven't seen this, which is the running game that Michigan is going to present with play action passes. And when you look at that 2-quarterback system, man, that is hard to defend. And I'm going to show you a couple different things that we're going to do off that orgy package that's going to absolutely create some problems for defenses.
Yeah, I always thought that this was going to be a game that was going to be tough, breaking in a new quarterback and then having an entirely new offensive line, not to mention pretty much an entirely new offense in, Colston level, and we all know, but that's hard to do. You develop over time. And I don't like I don't like putting in orgy. You know, the offense is so much about timing and rhythm and momentum and all of these things and putting in and out and having the revolving door. I don't like that for Davis Warren. I don't like that for Michigan. It's not like the world is going to be over or anything if they end up falling in this game, but I think Texas with the quarterback, their experienced offensive line, I think that Michigan will stay within if you're getting 7.5 and 7, I like Texas, but I like Michigan with the 7 points. So, but hey, I'm wrong all the time. I'd love to be wrong about this one. That's just how I feel. Jerry, are you ready to go to the tape? You bring that up and tell me.
I want to bring up some things that I saw from the game. Some of my thoughts, some of the things that were encouraging that people might not have seen, and some of the things that weren't so encouraging. The first thing I like is we scored 44% of the time we had the ball. 9 possessions. That's all you had. 9 possessions. That's all that was for Michigan. And we scored on 4 of them. That's a good thing. We found out that we can run behind this offensive line and chew up some clock. That's a good thing. Second half improvements. I really like the second half improvement of this team. This was a really nice thing to see. Not only from the players, but also the coaches. The coaches got smarter in this game, and you could see it as the game was progressing. Second half improvements. Orgy running for 2 second and long and creating first downs deep in our deep in our territory. So that was big. And Davis Warren completing 3 passes and third downs in the second half. Our second half third down efficiency was very good. And so I like that. 6 possessions in the first half. We only scored twice, a field goal and a touchdown. The second half improvement again. 4 possessions, 3 scores, 2 or 3 long drives, and a drive to change field position, which should not be underlooked. That was a nice drive right after the field goal. We had the ball on the 10-yard line, got 2 orgy runs for 10-plus yards, and brought the ball out past the 40. And really should have had a first down because I thought they interfered with Shamaj Morgan, held him a little bit there on that third down. But that was encouraging. Time of possession. 34 for Michigan, 26. Everybody wants to talk about how this is the most overrated statistic in football, and it could be, However, when you have the ball for 34 minutes against the other team who only has it for 26 minutes, you have a lot more chance to score and a lot more chance to win, and your defense gets rested. And that's what we need to do the rest of the season. Keep our defense rested with a good, sound ground game. Take up time of possession, score your 27 to 33 points a game, and let your defense shut everybody down under 13. So I like that. This was big, and this was underrated. We answered every one of Fresno's scores. Every time Fresno came down and scored, we went down and scored. We matched them point for point, and that's a huge thing. That is a huge thing. Quarterback production, I liked what Orgy and Warren did. And my gosh, do we have a kicking game. Now all of a sudden, you cannot allow Michigan past the 40-yard line. That's hard for a defense. That means the offense typically only has to go 3.5 first downs and they're in field goal range. So that's a huge, huge winner. The things I didn't like, I think Scar mentioned this too, more defensive lineman rotation. We need 3 bodies behind Barry, Benny, Graham, and Grant. We need 3 other bodies. If we're going to go 3 down linemen majority of the game, then we need 3 guys behind them. And I was not happy to see our guys in that game that late. That was bothersome to me. Wide receiver play, I think we need to step that up a little bit and have a little bit more downfield threat. However, with Klein and Loveland on the field, that could happen. That could happen because, like you all are saying, you got to take Loveland out of the game. And if you do, all of a sudden now you got playmakers in space, and that's not a good thing either. And then I wanted to see a little bit more reps from Orgy. I wasn't crazy about the penalties on the defensive side. Offensively, I thought we did pretty well penalty-wise, but defensively, we got to cut those down. But a couple of those were real shaky. I didn't agree with them.
Yeah, I didn't like that one on Guy where
that was horrible. That was a horrible call, in my opinion.
Not me too. I didn't like that. I would have liked it if it was on the other side. I mean, like, what are you going to do? You just barely touched him. He was standing in the back. But
actually, I think you said it right the other day when you said he ran into him. He backed up into him.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. Just listening to you, thinking about the second half, the drives Michigan had in the second half, 10 plays field goal, 9 plays punt, but then
change of field position.
7 plays, the big one where they answered the touchdown, the drive of the game, 6 runs with that, the pass to Colston Loveland, that was the drive of the game, and they were answering that touchdown. It felt like that was going to be the ball game right there. So they should feel good about not only getting better from week 1 to week 2, but how they did in the second half on offense, moving the ball like they did compared to the first half. And now we'll see when the rubber meets the road tomorrow if they're going to be able to have that kind of success. Because if they are, then they can beat the Longhorns. There it is, Jerry.
I'm ready to share, Denny.
All right. Well, you got to put that screen up. And while you do that, I am going to tell everyone that a great chance for you always is to join the Maize and Blue Review, and doing it right now on the eve of the Texas game. This is like would be doing it on like if it would be Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. You want to stay up all night interacting with Michigan fans, reading everything about Michigan, Texas, talking about this game. You can do this over the next 20 hours or so, getting yourself ready for the game. Join up the Maize and Blue Review. You want to know all the different recruits that are coming in for this big weekend against the Horns? Check it out there. Running list of the guys that are coming in. Go to michigan.rivals.com to get that done. We'll see you over there on the Den. All right, here's Jerry with as we look at this game and talk about what you're looking at.
Okay, I wanted to leave this up. I saw Scar mention this, the OG and Espo. Phenomenal defense. That's, phenomenal defense. Our defense is elite, can win championships. Don't overcoach them. And get some other guys in there. That would be my suggestion. I thought we put a lot of pressure on Fresno, and that pressure created bad throws by the quarterback, falling off on his back foot and that kind of stuff. So, if this is the game plan, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we get to him and cause some havoc. I think our defense is very good talent-wise. I think we're very deep. We could be even deeper. But these guys are cream of the crop as far as coaching staff is concerned. So we'll let them play it out, and we'll go from there. I like our defense.
All right. You liked what you saw from Wink. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Where am I at here? That's the interception. Okay. Let's talk about it. 2nd and 8. Loveland is an absolute mismatch. And watch him after on the yards after contact. This guy, when you detach Loveland, look at the guy he's going against right here. If he's 6'2", I'm 6'8". This guy is 5'10", 5'11" at best. He cannot give up the outside, and he gives up the inside for some reason. I don't know why, but Loveland is an absolute mismatch because either way Loveland goes, he's going to beat this guy. All the quarterback has to do is throw it up high on the outside or hit him quick on the inside. And then watch what he does after the play. Also, this is a great security blanket for the quarterback. You're going to see this play and these slant plays open time and time again in this film study that we're going to do. He is a great security for a young quarterback, and this could be very, very problematic for defenses. Our pocket protection was very good all day long. I think our offensive line, we made some mistakes in there. There's no question about it. And the coaching didn't help at times on our offensive line. We're running wedge right underneath our center, and he's getting submarined. That's a hard block. So I saw our offensive line get better throughout the game, and I saw our coaching staff help that offensive line get better throughout the game. And then finally, I want you to watch Preeb. Just this little arm extension shows how strong these guys are, that they can get these guys off. But let's watch the play. Watch Loveland get underneath, threatens the outside. The guy knows he can't let him get outside that easy. Can't, no way, because they'll just throw an alley-oop and they'll, oh, shoot. There's no way that linebacker can cover that. And then watch the yards after contact. Bang. What is that? 7, 8 yards after contact?
Yeah.
Believe you me, folks, that's one of the top 5 weapons in the country this year. Colston Loveland. Look at the protection this guy's getting. Watch the protection this guy's getting from our offensive line. Link will get better. This guy on the outside, this right tackle on the outside, he'll get better more and more. You're going to see him and Giotti, they're going to get better more and more in the year. But that left side of the line, Hinton is a house. Hinton is a house. You have a hard time getting around him. Preeb, what was he, second team last year, all Big Ten? Stud. So this is not a joke offensive line. If you're coming into Michigan thinking this offensive line could be dominated, think again. But that is a great weapon, a great, great weapon for a quarterback, a young quarterback especially. Now, I'm going to go over this play. I watched you guys on Wednesday. I saw Scar, and Scar talked about, well, I don't see any threat that this play creates other than just kind of riding and throwing behind. Well, here's the threat that really is created. When you look at it, Fresno only has 4 guys on the quick side of the ball, on the strength of the ball with the tight end. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy is on the opposite side. He does not count. Michigan has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we call the center half and the quarterback half. That means Michigan outnumbers Fresno to the strength 5-4. And you got a fullback at quarterback leading the way. Now, as this play progresses, watch Bredesen go in motion. This play now creates outside zone this way for the quarterback. And we can still fake the Donovan this way. Outside zone to the quarterback. We got the read option outside here. We got the boot over here. We got all kinds of stuff. We got quarterback sweep over here. We got all kinds of stuff for this quarterback package, and I'm sure Michigan has seen this. We're 5-on-4 to the strength because of what they got to do over here to protect against these 3 receivers. This is a problem for the defense. You got boots, you got zone, you got veer reads, you got tough that are tough enough, but then you got to set up with the outside zone with the quarterback. This is problematic for a defense, and believe you me, they have to spend a tremendous amount of time defending this with orgy during the week. This is all eye candy and brute strength going at you at the same time. Not good. I like O'Leary sitting down and kind of doing a little pick route on this for Donovan, but nice job by O'Leary here too. But watch this. As Bredesen goes in motion, look at that zone on the outside. We've got zone on the outside. We got quarterback zone on the outside. We can zone read this on the front side. And then we can boot just like this to Donovan Edwards right there on the quick side, on the wide side of the field. Watch 81. Watch 81. O'Leary. He just kind of sits down. He's looking for him. He's actually looking for him. That's not. And it doesn't matter because the ball's behind the line of scrimmage. Totally legal. Great play design, great utilization of your talent. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what I'd rather see. Warren or Orgy in the backfield. I'm not sure what I would rather see.
Say that again. You're not sure what?
I don't know if I'm a defensive coordinator, which one I'd rather see. Because if Orgy's in there, you're going to run 80, 95% of the time. But that guy's a big fullback running the ball with lead blockers everywhere. That's not a pretty package to see.
Jerry, if I could just jump in for a second, I've been, like everyone else, taking every little bit of information that I could get on this game. And what I have found that guys that have played college football and have coached football, that they all are making this point about how difficult it's going to be for Texas because Michigan has two quarterbacks. I saw Urban Meyer for a half hour diagramming things saying, look, this is going to be a deal. RPO, Orgy, you have to spend a lot of time on that. And then he said, then it's a completely different situation when you have Warren in there. And he couldn't have, he couldn't have said it more, just how he thought that was going to be such a big part of this game. You keep saying it. Scar was saying it. You coaches and you players really think that this is a big thing.
Then, from the beginning, I was not crazy on an alternating quarterback situation.
Yeah.
I've said it before. However, when you got this kind of personality on the field, you got to utilize them. And you're going to see where our coaches got smarter later on in the game because of Orgy and because of what Orgy presents. He is a third and short killer. He will keep drives alive just by putting his head down. He's 235, 6'3", 235. That's not a small man. And you're going to typically have corners and linebackers trying to take him on the outside or on the read. That's not a good formula. I'd take a fullback on a linebacker any day for a yard.
I like it. I'm with you. Yep. I'm following along.
Okay, so let's see here. Where are we at here? I thought that was the dumbest play of the game, and I'll tell you why I thought it was the dumbest play of the game. I think it set up 3 bad series for us in the first half. This series and the 2 after, I thought were very were because of this bad throw. In my opinion, you got a young team, a young offense, all new faces. Let's establish something, and then let's take the shot down the field. I don't think we established much in that first drive or the second drive to go take the shot down the field. I think we needed to establish ourselves a little bit more before hitting it long, because this could have been open. But,
yeah, well, you're right, Jerry. That was on first down, and then the next 2 drives were both 3 and out. So yeah,
3 and out. It completely destroys the chemistry of the team and puts them into it. This is the ensuing sequence. Loveland stopped short on second down, and I'm going to show you later how, because I didn't have the play on this film. I'm going to show you later how we were running wedge to the center, which was not a good play. And then all of a sudden now we're zone reading out the back end with Orgy getting that 3rd and 1. And it was a much better situation. Now all of a sudden the defense has got to take somebody out. So Loveland was stopped short on second down. We had a 3rd and 1. We tried to wedge right behind the center. They submarined us. We had no out the back door threat, and they came off the edges and stopped us. Later on, you're going to see Orgy answers that question. Here we are. We're going to be punting inside the 25-yard line the next 2 series. That's not good. That's not what we are. That's not where we want to be. So that was a problem for me. Okay, I don't know whose fault this is. If and Guy East played a lot and did a very nice job. He had a couple bad plays, But I thought he did very well, and I thought Crippen did a nice job as well. But I'm not sure if Al Hadid was thinking that we were going to slide the protection this way or what. But Al Hadid was thinking he was going to get some help. Gadis probably called the slide to the left. The backer backed out, and now Gadis is sitting there blocking nobody, and Al Hadid, it looks like he's waiting for help, and not a good sequence. We get better at this, much better than this later in the game. These are things you're thinking are going to happen with a new offensive line like that. That's first game jitters. Okay. Another second and long pickup. We need the receivers to do more, be more productive, get more involved. But this is a great pickup by Crippen and Mullins on the blitz. Great clear out by the three receivers down below. And a nice cross. I think this is Bell coming across the defense underneath all that clear out. Great play design. Great pickup on the blitzes. Nice. Look at that pickup by Crippen and Mullins right there. That's an outstanding job right there. For game one, to pick that up like that, obviously they saw a lot of that in the spring and fall with Wink. Because our offensive line did a real nice job picking up blitzes. And then here's Bell, puts his foot in the dirt, gets the first down. Big play there. Okay. Body blow, body blow, body blow. That's who we are. That's what we're going to be this year. And teams are going to have to change their game plan a little bit because of it. Body blow, body blow, body blow. Look at the wall created. And then Mullins has great vision. Mullins has great vision. You can see the one technique. This guy right here. He's trying to play over Crippen. He sees his guard pull, and he's going to try to play over the top of Crippen and make the play on the other side. Watch Crippen keeps him pinned, and then Mullins just cuts right off of him, and that kid's not going to make the play because he's already engaged. And then he tries to get over the top. He's not going to make that play. Mullins makes a great move, and that's who we are. I mean, if we're getting 5-6 yards like that, we're loving this. We're loving this kind of game. This is who we are. Here we are. This is not the first time or the last time you're going to see 9 guys within 6 yards of the line of scrimmage. Okay? What does that do? It puts the man on Loveland 15 yards off the ball. That is not a good place to be. Would you agree with that, Denny?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay? And that's what we do. We body blow, and set up the play action pass right off of it. 9 in the box with no pass rush. Why was there no pass rush? Because they're sitting back on their heels waiting for a run, Denny. That's what this is. That's what our run game does. It's difficult. It's different to play the run and the pass. If you know it's a pass, you're pinning your ears back and you're coming down the lane, whatever. Okay. But when you've got a run team and you're sitting there at 2nd and 5, you're trying to play the run. You've got to play gap integrity. You've got to play in those gaps, and you can't get out of those gaps, and you've got to play and sit strong. Well, what does that do? It takes away from the pass rush. And now all of a sudden, you got an All-American working one-on-one with a kid. He probably is bigger by 6 inches, okay, in space. And this is a nice throw and this is what Warren's talking about. He's not doing anything but taking what's there. Look at those linebackers coming up. Look at those linebackers coming up. You'll see later on where they're just turning their back and running because they're so far out of position. Do you see anybody pressuring the quarterback, Denny?
No, they were expecting the run. 9 in the box.
No. Okay? And that's what our game does. It makes you play a completely different game than what you're used to. Texas is going to play a completely different game than what they have played in a long time. Okay, here we are, 1st and 10, empty with Loveland. Without Loveland, I think. Is this without Loveland? I think this is the one without Loveland. Oh, wait a minute. No, excuse me. This is with Loveland. We're empty with Loveland in space. One thing I've noticed about Loveland, this is the nice thing about Loveland. He's very elusive. And so teams are taught what they want to do is try to reroute receivers. Okay? What I've seen with Loveland is he's very elusive and they don't get clean shots on him. Watch it. Watch this cornerback try to get his hands on Loveland, completely whiffs. You see that, Denny?
Yeah.
And there's nobody left in the middle. There's nobody left in the middle.
What would you do, Jerry, if you were the defensive coordinator with Loveland? Would you get up and put your hands on him a little bit earlier than the 5 yards that they're on right there? Jam him up a little bit?
You'd have to do something like that. Maybe pray a little bit that maybe he stubbed his toe or something like that. I don't know.
Prayer?
Drops a pass or whatever. But, if you get up there too tight, you're leaving space for those other receivers.
Yeah.
And then you got guys like Samaj Morgan who can bust a play anywhere if he's in space. And we saw that in the Big Ten championship on his punt return. Give him a little space and he can bust it and go to distance. Okay. So you're really, Loveland creates huge problems for the defense. Again, this is not the matchup they want. And I think that's a linebacker, right? There's no way that linebacker is running with Loveland. There's no way a cornerback is going to body Loveland. He's a nightmare, and we got two of them. Not just Loveland, we got Klein too. We haven't let him loose yet. But here we are, 1st and 10, empty with Loveland. Loveland is very elusive, hard to reroute. And the middle is wide open. That is one of the top 5 weapons in the country this year, in my opinion. The slants to Loveland from the detached or wide position was open all day. Watch number 2 clear out. Now, if number 2 clears out and they jump Loveland, who's open? Number 2. You got that? And I think that's more, number 8. But number 2 from the receiver side. 1, 2. Okay, that's how you count them. 1, 2. Okay, so number 2 receiver. Watch him slant. This is the double slant. And it was there all day long. I don't know why Warren went this way. Maybe it was because it was 3rd and 9. But I'll tell you right now, I'm putting my money on Loveland to get 4 yards after contact. Wouldn't you? I don't know why he went out there when he saw the linebackers drop. That was probably one of his 2 or 3 bad reads or bad throws that he had that day. But that slant with Loveland detached was there all day long, and we'll see it there all day long. This is nice. Kicking game looks solid. Denny, I'm going to say it now. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it later. You can't let Michigan cross the 40-yard line. That creates a whole different scenario for the defense. Now, all of a sudden, you got to get a little bit more aggressive earlier. And when you get aggressive against the run team and you put the 2 hats in the 1 gap and the running back exploits it, that could go to the house. So this is a huge weapon. Texas is sitting there thinking, we cannot let Michigan inside the 40 or they get 3. This is a huge weapon.
Yeah, I like how he doesn't look like he's gearing up. Even that was the 45-yard one, but even on the 50s, look like they could just be extra points. Kind of like when you're watching somebody with a real nice golf swing. They just
it was unbelievable,
nice and easy, and then the ball just explodes off his foot.
Unbelievable. Okay, 3rd down conversion. Here's a 3rd down conversion. We weren't real good in the first half on 3rd down, but when you look at the second half, we were very good, I thought. Here we got Fresno cotton man. Now, we've seen them in zone throughout the game, and we've burnt them in zone. Here we are. We're going to burn them in man, too. This linebacker, and I'm sure Warren knows this linebacker is manned up on Donovan. When Donovan goes out, the linebacker goes out. What does that do? creates a whole vacancy right here in the middle of the field for either receiver number 2 or number 1. Watch the play out. This is pretty much a win versus man every time. I mean, that's just pitch and catch. I think I could throw that ball. That's just pitch and catch right there. And that's what Warren's saying. I'm just managing the ball game. I'm just taking what's there. And Loveland is there all day long. Now, let's look at the line. First of all, and I'm going to say this again later, these two guys on the left side are pretty good. Hinton's a house.
Yeah.
It takes about 3 or 4 seconds just to get around them if you can get around them. So there's no sack coming from Hinton's side. Preeb is an experienced player, and he's a big man. Now, what we're going to see over here, remember last year, and the year before, last year primarily, our offensive line picked up twists and games inside pretty easily. Well, let's not forget that those guys have been together for 2 or 3 years doing that. These guys will get better at picking this up. El Hadid and Link, they'll get better at picking this up and getting on the same level. But I thought they both played very well, with the exception of a couple small mistakes. But still, that pocket's pretty good. And we're getting the ball out quick. And I think that's very underestimated. We're getting the ball out quick. These defensive linemen are having a hard time putting any kind of pressure at all on the quarterback. And that's a good thing when we're getting the ball out quick. But you see how that linebacker vacated, Denny. That puts now the safety one-on-one with Moore. He's got to leave, which vacates that slant to Loveland. You see that, Denny?
Yeah. They didn't handle that twist over on the left side there, Link. And
that's what I was talking about. They'll get better at that, Denny. They'll get better at that. That's something that comes with time. I mean, we saw our guys do it last year, but remember, they were doing it for 2 or 3 years together. These guys will get better over here. This will be addressed and answered very shortly. But what happens is we catch them a man, linebacker vacates, Moore drops over the middle. Their number 32 goes with them. Their safety from Maslin, which vacates this slant to Loveland. Loveland, detached, is a nightmare. They're not going to cover that. Great job holding on to the ball. Great ball security. Great. Not that very much underestimated. Same thing. Same kind of concept. Here we see, I think this is Moore or is it Bell? I'm not sure. But watch the slant. What does he do? He runs their defensive back right into the linebacker. And then you got Moore about 8 yards sitting inside. Easy pitch and catch again. Another one. Great pocket. Great rub route versus man. Moore wins. Warren hits him. Look at that pocket. Look at that pocket, Denny.
Yeah, protect him like that.
That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff.
Tyler Moore.
Moore's a vet. He gets inside. Tough for them to cover that.
Timo.
So
yeah, that was nice. If he's got that kind of time, you're going to be cooking tomorrow.
And the other, these slant routes, they're creating these space and matchup problems with these formations, and it just really it's fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. Okay, I just put this out here. We got Preeb for holding, but I want everybody to watch this defensive tackle Al Hadid. So we know holding happens on both sides of the ball, and they missed it on El Hadid. El Hadid's trying to get up on that linebacker. You see that, Denny? How the tackle pulls him down? You see that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And then Preeb, he just kind of, Donovan has to bust outside because that linebacker's coming in there, and Preeb gets called holding. But I just wanted to point that out and show everybody that, yes, holding does occur on both sides of the ball. Poor guy. All right. I want you to, now, again, this is the importance of a great kicking game. Here's the 40-yard line. We're in field goal range right here. We're in field goal range right here. But you don't want to give him anything inside this 40-yard line. Watch the line of scrimmage move. I know it's 3rd and 17. I know they're backing up. But now all of a sudden you got to start wondering about this. How many times am I going to give up this 3 points? But watch the line of scrimmage just move to the next level. We get 6 yards. And instead of a 59-yard field goal, we're kicking a 52-yarder or 52-yarder, right? 53-yarder. And this guy drills it. This is a weapon. This is a huge weapon for us this year. If he keeps getting this done and keeps getting better, that is real problematic for other teams. Our defense has been outstanding. All right, now, here we are. This is the second series in the second half, right, Denny? We just went long, scored a field goal. Now we're coming out. We get the ball on the 10.5-yard line. We got formation to the field. We got an unbalanced line because he's covered. This guy is covered. He is ineligible to go out for a pass, and yet they're covering him for some reason. I know why. Because if we throw a bubble out here, he's got to make the play. He's got to make that play. So you have to honor these guys. Even though he's ineligible, you got to honor him. You got to honor him. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of their coaching. What they're teaching this 5 technique is as soon as that offensive tackle blocks down, you squeeze him and start looking for this wham, this inside zone wham. And what do? Instead of whamming, we wrap. And we come up on the second level, and Klein is showing that he can block, especially block in space. So now you got to defend Donovan. You got to step up there. There's the squeeze. You see the squeeze, Denny? Look at that left defensive end get on Link's outside shoulder. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what does that do? He takes him right down to where he's supposed to be. The problem is Loveland gets around him with ease. And here you got a 235-pound fullback in the open. I don't care, everybody. And by the way, that one throw that everybody was dogging him on, I think I saw somebody else throw it in the dirt this weekend. And it was a pretty good quarterback. I can't remember the game. I wish I could. But that rollout, that's not the easiest pass in the world. All right.
Yeah, I gotta say, Orgy looked like Lamar Jackson last night with that defensive end. The defensive end's there, and they can still outrun him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, now watch the line create a wall. You're going to see this wall right here. Okay? Then you're going to see Bredesen. This is not a great kick out, but watch him bury this guy because he keeps his feet moving. And he moves the pile. Then I want everybody to watch El Hadid and watch what he does to this little cornerback out here. This is almost funny. Boop. You see that, Denny?
Yeah.
Boom. Other corners are watching this saying, oh, shit. Excuse my language. Watch Bredesen take this kid and bury him. You see it?
Yeah. Buried him.
So
did El Hadi. Give him a little pop.
Watch him. Hadid or El Havi. Great block by them. But watch this wall. You see that wall?
Yep.
Ain't nothing but blue shirts over there, Denny. Ain't nothing but blue shirts creating a wall. Look at how tight they are to each other. That's working together. El Hadid just explodes on that corner. Poor kid. And what I really liked is Donovan Edwards running hard downhill. Do you look at that? Look at him pick up his feet right then. Look at that. Boom. He plants that foot and he's downhill. Boom. I'll take my 4 yards. That's different than what he was before. He's being a lot more patient. He'll take his 4 yards and he's looking to run people over this year. That's what I like to see. Another second and long conversion. Zone read is a problem for everybody. You better have somebody on the quarterback, and he better be thick. This drive changed field position and put it in our favor the rest of the game. Great job by Klein letting one go because of the angle and then picking the guy up that was supposed to have Orgy. You see that? Klein sees he's way down there. There's no way he's making the play on Orgy. And now you got Orgy running in space. First down. Changes the whole field position. I thought this was holding. You can see Morgan indicating it too. So even though we don't get the first down, we change field position. Third down conversion. Nice throw under duress. Morgan, nice reception. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than this. Just got him sitting right underneath the linebackers. As soon as those linebackers clear, Morgan sits underneath it. 3rd and 6. And that's a great pickup. That's a great pickup. 3rd and 6 like that. Beautiful pickup. Okay, here we are. Same possession. This is not going to happen much. Loveland dropping this pass is not going to happen much. This might be there all year long, these double slants with Loveland out there. You've seen it all day there, right, Denny?
Yeah, I've been watching it. You've been showing these double slants, and if Tyler Morris is open and Loveland's open.
What? Someone's going to be wide open. Somebody's going to be wide open, but this should have continued to drive. Here we are. All our American drops a pass. If not, we're sitting 1st and 10, ready to go in and punch it in again. A touchdown. Right. And then Zabata hits it's a field goal. You're sitting there saying, with their defense, this kicking game, we got our work cut out for us. We got our work cut out for us. And that running game, too. Our offensive line, I thought, was very impressive. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. We learned from earlier on 3rd and 1. We learned earlier on 3rd and 1 what we can do. Pretty much the same way they were lined up earlier. I think they had one more guy on our right tackle, but everybody was filled. Everybody was filled. Look at how low this nose guard is. There's no way Gadis is going to get underneath them, especially with no help. So it was a bad play. It was a bad play design. We tried to run the wedge right down the center, and he's getting submarine. If you look at Preeb, he gets submarine too on this play. Watch. Look at that. Those guys are just taking out legs. Well, when you got this in the backfield, you can't do that anymore. That you cannot do anymore. You see it?
I'm watching. Not with Orgy. Orgy should be in there out for the short yardage.
No, I mean, it's pretty much a given. It's pretty much a given. Okay, remember, they just scored. They just scored. We're trying to answer. Scar did a great job illustrating this play on Wednesday. Showed great vision from Mullins. But I want everybody to watch Link. This is what he's being coached. Watch his left leg keep driving and driving and driving to get leverage on this 5 technique. What does it do? It extends the hole. Do you see him pounding that foot down?
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Now he outraised him by probably 50 pounds. So when that happens, that's the result. That guy's got outside control. Link is moving him even more outside to create that hole. And I'll tell you what, Mullins is a beast. He is a bear. Hold on to that ball, big fella. There's going to be plenty of him busting in the second half. Later in the season, breaking those big ones. All right, again, great vision. All this is hat on a hat. What I really love is our receivers taking good angles and getting in position to get great blocks. What does that do? Now, all of a sudden, these guys are going to be taught, well, hell, you can't get blocked by these receivers. You got to come down. You got to come down quicker. What's that going to do, Denny? It's going to pop this guy right open down the gut. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, 6 runs, set him up for this, pop him.
Okay, but this is the kind of thing that's going to set up big plays later on for our receivers. If our receivers are blocking like this, these guys are going to have to be told, get downhill on the run, get downhill, and then we're going to scoot right behind them. And that's a problem. That is a problem for the defense. Another problem for the defense. Great block by Loveland. Loveland has turned into a beast as far as blocking is concerned. Great job by Preeb. Nice job by Gadis. Watch him at center. He stones his kid right in his tracks and then starts to move him. Then you got Mullins out there with a corner. There aren't many corners in the country going to bring him down one-on-one. That, I'll tell you what, I could see this going the distance in game 2. He won't get tackled like that in game 2. But this is just pure domination by our offensive line and our running game. Loveland and Klein together. Okay, this is something I didn't catch in the game, but Crippen was kind of bouncing in and out at center with Gadis. So that center position probably is still not answered, but we got 2 guys that can play in the game against Fresno State. So that's a pretty good feeling. But here we are, play action. We're going to pull the guard across. Crippen's going to block back and keep his guy pinned. We're going to get great protection. And we got Loveland and Klein both on the field. Either one of them are open on this play. Watch it. There's Loveland open. But hell, Klein's open too. You see it?
Yep.
Great protection. Good job by Crippen. Good job by Link. And again, this defensive line is playing run. They're not playing pass. They're playing run. That slows their pass rush down. And that's what Warren is talking about. All I did was take what they gave me. And I thought he played outstanding. Great job. I thought our team was very good, especially in the second half, and that's what you really want to see. You want to see that kind of improvement in the second half.
Well, they definitely played better. Is that well, there you go, Jerry. Link 6'6", 330, big game. I love that, where you had him just hammering his leg down there. 45, 53, and 55 yards from the field goal kicker. Great job, Jerry. Everybody smash the like button. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Do you have a final thought?
No, I think it's two different teams going at each other. I think there's one team that's going to try to throw the ball. It's when it's 60 degrees out, I got to believe it's going to be a little windy, swirling in the big house a little bit. Against a team that likes to pound the rock and play great defense and win with special teams. I like our chances.
Jerry, great job. Enjoy the game. Great job on the film. And I know you'll be taking it all in like all of us tomorrow watching this one. Huge game. Can't wait. Great job.
All right, Denny. Hail to the victors, baby.
There he is, Jerry Diorio. Smash that like button, and we'll talk with